There's been some stories, manze. Museveni wants the coast of Kenya, man. Huh? He's saying, how can he be denied the coast of Kenya? How?
Now, Kenya's Ministry of Foreign Affairs has downplayed threats of war issued by Uganda's President Yoweri Museveni over access to the Port of Mombasa and the Indian Ocean, insisting Museveni is well aware of international territorial laws. But experts warn that his remarks, including a claim that he, quote, owns the Indian Ocean through Kenyan transit, risked straining bilateral relations and the cohesion of the East African community. NTV's Laban Shaban reports.
Uganda's President Yoweri Museveni is seeking another mandate come January 2026. Museveni is eyeing his 8th consecutive term since seizing power in 1986.
Come and you stand around here, and I don't have the strength to go and stand there.
It is against this backdrop that the former rebel leader has had tongue-wagging remarks touching on Kenya-Uganda relations and the right to access the Indian Ocean when he was unpacking his manifesto during the weekend.
The political organization in Africa is so irrational. Some of the countries have no access to the sea. For economic purposes, but also for defense purposes, you are stuck. How do I export my products? That's why we have got endless discussion with Kenya, and then this one stops, then another one comes, then the railway, the pipeline, the what, we discuss. But that ocean belongs to me. Because where is my ocean? I'm entitled to that ocean. In the future, we are going to have wars.
Again, the timing of his remarks. You know, at this time, there are heated campaigns in Uganda. He is seeking for a re-election, which he calls his last term. And could it be that he's speaking to the Ugandans' ears what they want to hear?
The Kenyan government has responded to Museveni through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
I will not comment much on what His Excellency President Museveni said with respect to our oceans, but I believe very much.
Saying that the ocean belongs to him. In future, they're going to be wars. So in future, they're going to be wars because he's saying that the ocean belongs to him. Do you think his remarks are valid or not valid? Me think manze, mzee anafanya lale manze. Hey, what is this? This is mambo gani mzee anatuletea?
That he does have a fairly great understanding with respect to the nature of our territory and the nature of our rights with respect to our natural resources and his right with respect to natural resources within Ugandan territory.
For the president of Uganda, Yoweri Museveni, to come out at this particular time to specifically hint of a looming war between Uganda and Kenya, to reclaim or to claim, let me say to claim what he terms as rightfully belonging to the Ugandans, then it becomes quite absurd, and I would call it deeply dangerous.
I don't think President Museveni will want to draw Uganda into yet another war soon. And of course, this time now, an international war away from the internal conflicts in Uganda. And I think Ugandans are also aware of this. And history has it that when Uganda waged war against Tanzania in 2 occasions, it suffered most during the War of Mutukula of around 1969-67, and then the Sabasaba War of 1977.
Security analysts read Museveni's tone as more than frustration, a reflection of landlocked nations' vulnerabilities in a region where maritime control definitely means leverage.
And therefore, the argument perhaps of the landlocked states laying claim that is going against the United Nations law of the sea is subject to rational thinking of many states which are landlocked and have a rallying call. And that is when perhaps it can define conflicts of future. So the future may not be today, it may be after a number of years that are calculated in terms of how the landlocked countries are feeling they are oppressed in terms of the existing international law.
Article 125 of United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea gives landlocked Uganda the right to access the sea and transit through Kenya while recognizing Kenya's sovereignty over its territory. The details of the transit are agreed through bilateral or regional arrangements between the countries. However, Kenya retains the right to protect its legitimate interest as a transit state. In December 2023, Uganda took Kenya to the East African Court of Justice over restrictions that blocked its state oil company from importing fuel through Mombasa. The dispute, stemming from Uganda's dependence on Kenya for 90% of its refined petroleum, was resolved by March 2024, with the first direct shipment arriving in July last year. This highlights Kenya's role as the region's main transit hub.
The intention is not occupation, it's not taking territory. Perhaps the intention for Uganda currently is to have favorable terms of trade.
Museveni's remarks come amid ongoing tensions over cross-border resources, including Migingo Island. During his official visit on 30th July 2025, he and President William Ruto signed a fisheries and aquaculture MOU, a move aimed at sustainable management and joint capacity building, and a step toward resolving long-lasting disputes around the island. Laban Shaban, NTV.
Here's some, okay, as a landlocked country, they have some power to access the ocean, of which is always, you cannot deny people to access the ocean, but that does not mean that he owns the ocean. There's a difference. You cannot refuse your neighbor from accessing the other side. You get what I'm saying? That's common sense. But you cannot just come and say that you're going to have wars because of this. So, you tell me what you think in the comments. I'll truly appreciate. Kindly like, subscribe, and tell me. Kindly like, subscribe, share this video. I'll truly appreciate. Tell me what you think in the comments. If you think I'm wrong, if you think I'm right, tell me at least so that you can understand what you're hearing. So that you can, yeah.
And when I look at this what they call presidential candidates moving around, when I get time, I will really dismantle them. What they are talking. Because although only 67% now of our people are in the money economy now, because previously, up to when I introduced Operation Wealth Creation, only 32% were in the money economy. But now, 68% are in the money economy. They are the ones creating that money wealth, 67%. And you can see what they have done. The coffee now is about, I think it must have reached 12 million bags. Coffee, big volume. You can check the quantities. We used to produce only 3 million bags. I think we are now almost reaching 12 million bags. So this talking of wealth is already creating a thing qualitatively but also quantitatively. The quantities are bigger. The milk, we are now at 5 billion liters. The bananas, the maize, we are at 5 million tons. The cement, the what, everything is big. So the talking about it is helping. Now the challenge is to get out the 33%, the other 33% who are still outside the money economy. So in the case of Sebe, you should check in the parishes.
He's saying where is my ocean? He has his ocean. He's being denied his ocean. You tell me what you think in the comments. I'll truly appreciate. Kindly like, subscribe, share, follow your boy over here, MKIDDI Studios. I'm honored and I'm deeply appreciative of this. So thank you. So,